She was 8 months pregnant. The baby had a name, Ava. Keanu had already bought the crib. But on the night of April 1st, 2001, everything shattered. Jennifer Syme, his longtime partner, was killed in a high-speed crash after leaving a party hosted by Marilyn Manson. The world's kindest actor had just lost everything. Again. But that wasn't the first time tragedy struck Keanu Reeves. Nor would it be the last. His life has been a paradox. He's seen ghosts. He's battled demons. He's been blacklisted, betrayed, and broken. So, how did a dyslexic, fatherless, high school dropout become the most beloved man in Hollywood? Let's find out. Keanu Charles Reeves was born in the chaos of Beirut. His mother was English. His father, part Hawaiian, part Chinese, walked out on him when he was just 3 years old. The last time Keanu ever saw him was on a Hawaiian beach when he was 6. His father, Samuel Reeves, was later sentenced to 10 years in prison for drug trafficking. By the time he was a teenager, Keanu had lived in 4 countries, moved homes dozens of times, and watched 5 different father figures walk in and out of his life. His mother worked as a costume designer, often gone for long stretches. He struggled with dyslexia. He was expelled from not 1, but 4 high schools. Teachers called him unfocused. Classmates dismissed him as odd. His grades were poor. His confidence shattered. He found comfort in hockey. His teammates called him the Wall. But just like everything else in his life, it didn't last. He quit the team, quit school, and at 17, walked away with no diploma, no degree, and no direction. He had discovered acting. He worked small theater gigs, took gigs in commercials like Coca-Cola, even sharpened skates at a hockey rink to afford auditions. And then, after years of rejection, her whisper of fate arrived. A one-way ticket to Hollywood. No plan. No agent. Just a battered suitcase, a dream, and a name that casting agents constantly mispronounced. He was broke, alone, and completely unprepared for what would come next. Los Angeles, 1985. Keanu Reeves is 21 years old, sleeping on a friend's couch, with a couple $100 to his name and a face that no one forgets. He was awkward in meetings, constantly apologizing, and still unsure how to pronounce Reeves in a way people remembered. But when the cameras rolled, he changed. His first big break came in 1986 with River's Edge, a gritty indie film that earned critical acclaim. And then came Ted. Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure made $40 million at the box office, turned into a cult classic, and gave the world a new catchphrase: be excellent to each other. In Point Break, 1991, he played an undercover cop opposite Patrick Swayze, proving he could do action and intensity. He explored Shakespeare, indie films, period dramas. Speed made $350 million worldwide. Reeves was now Hollywood royalty. The studio offered him $11 million for Speed 2. He said no. Why? Because the script was weak. Instead, he performed Hamlet in a small Canadian theater. Critics called it surprisingly moving. But Hollywood? Hollywood called it a mistake. Fox blacklisted him. For 10 years. For walking away from a sequel. For refusing to play the game. But Keanu didn't care. He lived in hotels. Gave his money away. And yet, something was brewing. A film. A concept. A red pill. A rabbit hole. He was at the height of his fame. The Matrix had just made over $400 million. He had finally proven Hollywood wrong. But behind closed doors, Keanu Reeves was unraveling. In 1999, Keanu and his partner, Jennifer Syme, were expecting a child. Her name would be Ava. She was due on Christmas Eve. But in the final weeks of the pregnancy, There was no heartbeat. Ava Archer Reeves was stillborn. Jennifer fell into a deep depression. So did Keanu. They drifted apart, but they never stopped loving each other. And then, just 18 months later, the unthinkable happened again. On April 1st, 2001, Jennifer was killed in a car crash after attending a party in the Hollywood Hills. She was 28 years old. Cause of death? Blunt force trauma. Alcohol and medication were found in the system. Keanu was filming The Matrix Reloaded. He didn't speak to the press for months. But that wasn't the only loss he was hiding. His younger sister, Kim Reeves, was quietly fighting leukemia, a brutal 10-year war. Keanu rarely spoke about it. But behind the scenes, he was donating millions to cancer research under a fake foundation name. There were rumors. He lived in hotels to avoid loneliness. He gave away most of his Matrix salary to the costume and effects team. But the darkness wasn't always external. As a child, Keanu saw something strange. A ghost, or something like it. A floating coat gliding through his bedroom. No footsteps. Nobody. Even now, he's not sure what it was. But he's always felt watched. The public saw Zen. Calm. The man who never aged. But behind the calm was a man carrying coffins no one else could see. His daughter, his lover, his sister, his silence. And through all of it, he never lashed out. It was a thriller about a serial killer, a moody detective, a big studio release. But here's the twist, Keanu Reeves never agreed to be in it. In one of the most shocking turns of his career, Keanu claimed he was forced into The Watcher. That his signature on the contract had been forged. He was in Canada, rehearsing for a play. His former assistant had signed on his behalf, allegedly without his consent. And under legal pressure, Keanu made a decision most actors never would. But he never promoted the film. The critics were brutal. The performance was panned. One review said Keanu looked like he was trapped in the wrong movie. And in truth, he was. The film made over $47 million at the box office. The world had nearly forgotten him. Keanu Reeves was a ghost in Hollywood, too quiet, too humble, too broken to sell tickets. But in 2014's John Wick came out of nowhere. It wasn't a Marvel movie. No billion-dollar budget. No built-in fan base. Just one man with grief, rage, and a gun. It was violent. Stylish. But beneath the bullets, it was personal. John Wick was a mirror. Of loss. Of silence. Of Keanu. Keanu Reeves was loved. Not for controversy. Not for gossip. But for kindness, stoicism, and relentless dedication. He trained for months. Did 90% of his own stunts. Took pay cuts so production crews could be paid more. And insisted that even the extras were fed well. John Wick became a franchise. No mansions. No scandals. No entourage. He still lived in modest homes. Rode public transport. Gave away millions in secret. His sister Kim survived leukemia. But Keanu never stopped fighting for others still in the battle. And then came the moment that sealed the legend. Keanu walks on stage to announce Cyberpunk 2077. Audience member said, "You're breathtaking."
You're breathtaking.
Keanu replied, "You're breathtaking."
You're breathtaking.
You're all breathtaking.
You're all breathtaking.
In an age of fame-hungry stars, Keanu had become something rarer. There's one question still left unanswered after everything. Where is Keanu Reeves going next? Let's find out. Time is the one enemy no one escapes. But Keanu Reeves doesn't seem to age. The memes call him immortal. The fans call him breathtaking. But Keanu Reeves has always been something more. Today, he's worth over $380 million. But he still lives like a man who knows the value of loss. He doesn't flaunt wealth. He doesn't chase headlines. He still takes the subway. He still buys coffee for the crew. He runs a motorcycle company, writes poetry, studies philosophy, and quietly donates millions to children's hospitals and cancer charities, never asking for credit. In an industry built on ego, Keanu exists like a ghost. He's now in his 60s. But instead of fading out, he's charging forward. John Wick Chapter 5. BRZRKR, his graphic novel turned Netflix film. New Matrix rumors. He is, once again, everywhere. But he still speaks like a man untouched by all the noise. Maybe that's his greatest role, not Neo. Not John Wick. But Keanu Reeves, the man. So is Keanu Reeves a legend who conquered Hollywood? Or a mirror of who we all wish we could be? Let us know in the comments section. If this story moved you, like and share it to honor a man who redefined what it means to be a star.